Any questions before we get started? Any questions? Questions?
Do we have lab today?
Yeah, we have lab today. We'll be checking out the lab today. We'll meet down here first though for a review session for a little bit. Tomorrow we'll meet over in the other building. Then we'll go up and we'll check out, and we'll also do some cleaning. Group lab report due today in lab. Or when you come to lab this week. Other questions? Okay, let's see where we left off at. Michael additions. Adding a nucleophile to the beta carbon. Nucleophilic addition, 1,4 addition, also called Michael addition or conjugate addition. We had two at the bottom of one on the first page. Okay, down here we have an alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound prone to doing microaddition to the beta carbon. Depends on nucleophile though. Grignards though add how? Grignards add 1, 2, and so the product here would be phenyl add carbonyl. This picks up proton. Phenyl anion adds carbonyl, neutrons up. Proton comes from workup. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cuprates, on the other hand, the anion that we have here adds beta, electrons here, and we get this anion, the enolate anion. You can show the major resonance structure if you want, and it's going to protonate here with workup. We just bonded here. No longer a double bond. There's now an extra H here. 2 H's here where we're just 1 here. The other H came from workup. Some type of proton source. Acid, water would do it too. So here we did a 1,4 addition. And here we do a 1, 2, a direct addition to the carbonyl. This actually leads to an alcohol. 2 different reaction pathways for such a compound. Over here, synthesis. Well, here we go. Here's the first compound. Synthesized from cyclohexanone. Okay. Recognize, okay, cyclohexanone. No double bond. There's cyclohexanone. How can we get a nucleophile bonded here? Well, right now it's just CH2. I mean, you don't have a leaving group or anything. There's no chemistry here that you can do. But you got to realize, hey, if we had double bond here, now we can add nucleophile beta and we can bring it in. Do we know how to go from no double bond to double bond? How? We want to make the alkene. The alpha beta. How do we get here? We've already introduced this and subsequently reviewed it. So let's review it again. How would you get here? Cl2 what? Acidic or basic conditions, because there's different outcomes, acidic or basic conditions with halogenation.
It has to be acidic. If it's basic, it'll do it over and over again.
Exhaustive, we don't want two halogens. How do you want to do this?
I would do BR2 and then HBr.
BR2 with HBr, that would give what?
Carbonyl with a BR2. Right there. Yeah.
This here, can you see that? What happened here? That's how we get to that. Now we do something like KO2-butyl, potassium terbutoxide, E2, right? Brominate and then eliminate. There you go. Now what do we need to do?
Now we use it.
Now we react this with what? A cuprate, because a cuprate will do a cuprate with H+ workup, which is the reaction we did on the other page. So putting in the double bond then gives us the reactivity that we can now add a nucleophile to the beta carbon. Can't add a nucleophile here, that's just an alkane. There's no leaving group. Here essentially the electrons of the pi bond are leaving that movie. And it's very hard to put a halogen here. There's no chemistry there. We put a halogen next to carbonyl, we learned that chemistry. Then we can eliminate. Now we got the reactivity here to bring in. Same thing here. I mean, once you get this, then we react it with what to get this? Just methylamine. I mean, you can just use the amine. You don't have to use the anion. Amines are nucleophilic neutral. Coming here and then proton transfer. The H will be transferred from here to here. Internal proton transfer. From here, what do we react with to get this? Methyl, magnesium, bromide or iodide or whatever with H+ workup. So that's going to add direct addition to carbonyl. Question? No, Grignards prefer to do direct additions. And since the direct addition is the faster reaction, the kinetic product, it's faster, it thus occurs first. And once the carbonyl is gone, can you then add nucleophile to pi bond? No, it's no longer reactive towards, it's no longer electrophilic. Because if we added here and electrons went here, it would be an anion, but it wouldn't be resonance stabilized. You can't do it. You can't add to just a plain alkene. This is now just a plain alkene. When we add here, we get the anion that's an enolate. That's why we're able to add there. So, thinking a little bit going backwards there. Microadditions, applications. These guys tend to be pretty darn reactive. Pretty darn reactive adding to this. Microadditions, pretty darn reactive. Such tend to be toxic because nucleophiles in your body will add here, like amines in your DNA or proteins. Lots of applications of this. Some drugs actually include such. Look at this drug, okay? The business end is right here. What do we have? Alpha beta unsaturated, that's actually an alpha beta unsaturated amide. It is a carbonyl compound, but it's specifically an amide. This is a essentially a cancer drug used against some leukemias. And this drug is known to inhibit a certain tyrosine kinase. Kinases is very important in biochemistry. Sometimes if we can inhibit an enzyme, we can do that. That can be a good thing in terms of controlling diseases or cell proliferation. This drug will react with the enzyme. It is a tyrosine residue. Tyrosine is an amino acid which has a phenyl with an OH. Okay? So it's an OH on the amino acid. Here's your enzyme, and it does a certain thing. This guy comes in, and the enzyme actually reacts here, does a microaddition. We end up having the oxygen bonded there. Anion here, right? But the anion can pick up an H. Once it picks up an H, it's here. And now the enzyme is now covalently bonded to the drug. But now the enzyme is apparently, it no longer can act as an enzyme. Because the OH is probably the important part of the function of the enzyme, but now that it's bonded to this drug, it can't act, and it can maybe stop the cell growth or something, because the enzyme is no longer there to do what it's supposed to do. So the drug here, now most drugs out there do their drug action by IMFs, intermolecular attractions or intermolecular forces. That is, they don't actually covalently bond to something. They just interact by hydrogen bonding or some way and do the drug action. But this is an example where a drug covalently interacts with something. In this case, by a Michael reaction. Now, what's the purpose of the rest of the compound here? You might like, well, why come you can't just give this as a drug? Well, there's a lot more to being a drug. This has to get to the site where this enzyme is. Also, these coming together, the rest of this molecule can sort of influence how this approaches this enzyme. And I guarantee you there's probably lots of hydrogen bonding going on or something to bring this into maybe an enzyme pocket. And then once it gets in there, boom, it then interacts and does this covalent reaction. So the rest of the molecule is important for other reasons. But again, this is sort of the business end right here. Michael addition to this drug. And actually, there's a number of anti-cancer drugs that have alpha-beta unsaturated carbonyl components. I left my white sheet upstairs. We'll have to look at this next time. We can polymerize alpha-beta unsaturated carbonyls. Superglue is an example of this. That's in the white handout. Superglue can be used to glue things together, hardware example. Superglue is also used in medical practice sometimes, called Dermabond, maybe to glue a wound together. Very similar. We'll look at that in the white handout next time on Wednesday. Okay, also toxicity of Tylenol. Please look at that in the white handout. Tylenol, if you take too much, can be toxic. Reason why is because the Tylenol, the acetaminophen, is converted to a toxic molecule. Tylenol itself is not that toxic, but the metabolite is. And the reason the metabolite is toxic is because it's an alpha-beta unsaturated carbonyl compound, and enzymes start reacting with it. Enzymes in your liver, and then that turns out to be bad. Okay, let's look at number 5 here. Michael addition followed by elimination. Overall substitution. Take this compound, reacted with nucleophile. Of course, this is minus and plus, right? We can get here a substitution reaction. Mechanism. Well, this is an alpha-beta unsaturated carbonyl. You recognize that. We have a nucleophile. Yeah? These electrons add here. We're going to just kick that off. Well, the first mechanisms we showed this semester was, what do we do here? We don't just kick that off. We break the weaker bond. Which is the weaker bond? Pi bond, right? Essentially, we're doing a Michael addition. We have electrons here, we have chlorine, and we have what? O-methyl. I mean, this reaction should hopefully be quite easy at this point. What do you want to do next? This can pick up proton, but what else could it do?
Electrons down.
I mean, there you go. It's an addition-elimination reaction. Which begins by a Michael addition, followed by back down, kick it off. It's almost as if that was a carbonyl. Electrons in, electrons up onto oxygen, back down, kick off the chlorine. See, this is easily formed here, relatively easily formed, because it's next to carbonyl, it's enolate. We can show major resonance structure again. Boom. So we have addition, followed by elimination. It's a good old addition-elimination substitution. What you see with carbonyls and what you see with aromatics. With carbonyls, we call it acyl substitution. With aromatics, we call it nucleophilic aromatic substitution, NAS. We can do it here too. It doesn't really have a name, but hopefully you see it's just basic chemistry. At this point, we're just applying our basic knowledge. Now, reaction below is not going to work. I mean, this is not going to come in here. What would you do? Well, can you kick these up? You can maybe get to this point, but what rule are we violating here? You don't do nucleophilic addition to an alkene unless what? Unless you can put the anion on a heteroatom. Can we put this anion on a heteroatom? No. Why were we able to do it up there? Well, do the resonance structure. You put it on the oxygen. That's the enolate, major resonance structure of the enolate. You can't do this. You don't add, you go back to organic 1. I mean, organic 1, when we were doing SN2, right? Can you do SN2 here? No, you don't do SN2. The leading group is on it's not on a tetrahedral carbon. This is not going to react. But up top it will. Same thing down here. Very analogous, and we mentioned this last time. The first reaction is a good old classical NAS substitution. The leaving group has a strongly drawing group, ortho or para. But when it's ortho, I mean, this looks like an alpha, beta, unsaturated. Of course, that could be a nitro or something. But here, without it, it's not going to work. So having the double bond conjugated with the carbonyl, Michael addition. As opposed to what? Well, 1,2 would be a direct addition. And you can do a direct addition here, like a Grignard. You look at this molecule now, it really has, this molecule has multiple sites of reactivity. Okay, we've come a long way. At the beginning, we talked about the toolbox. There's one reaction. Yeah? Final exam is when? So on the syllabus, okay? Let's react this with methyl magnesium iodide. What's going to be the product? There's the product if we react it with methoxide, potassium or sodium methoxide. What about this Grignard? What's the product? And then, what about, let's do some review here. Let's do couple other reactions here. You write it where you got some room here. Let's do bromine and FeBr3. Okay, what do we have here? Tertiary alcohol, how do we do? This requires an appropriate workup, right? Grignard adds the carbonyl, electrons up, one methyl there, you bring in another methyl? Yeah? We're going to have to maybe look at this here. Bromine, H, and acetic acid. Four reactions, one original, three additional ones I showed you. What do we got here? Those two products? Just don't make sense.
Got a lot of blues. I know
It's like the blues. I got a.
I perfected a bunch of blues.
Where do they all go? That's the EAS chemistry. Yeah? We're going to have to talk about. What about bromine acetic acid? What's alpha bromination? Now, you could get some alpha bromination here FeBr3 is a Lewis acid. It's possible. Usually when you see the iron, it's classical aromatic, but we got 2 sites of reactivity even for bromination. With that carbonyl there now. You see, back when we were doing aromatics, I didn't have to worry about you wondering if you're going to react there. But now you know that you do alpha to carbonyl. Let's keep going. What if we react this with chlorine and KOH with excess of each? And you could even make an argument of something going on here, but let's kind of keep it cold. And we'll mention why we might want to keep it cold. What can you show a product for that? What are we looking to do there? And somebody have a product for that one. Somebody have a product for that one. You're missing a charge here. Appropriate workup. Product here. Hopefully we can see this here. Carboxylic acid. 3 chlorines, but then a carbon with 3 chlorines is going to be susceptible to kick it off. Haloform reaction. Now this is going to require acid to protate this because we're making it here. Why do I suggest maybe cold temperature? If we're not careful, hydroxide could replace the chlorine just like here. I mean, just like here. Right? Haloform reaction. You put 3 halogens on the alpha carbon is insusceptible to being displaced by additional elimination. Haloform. So the 3 chlorines is right, but you got to keep going. You got to keep going. Haloform reaction. Look at all this chemistry we're doing with that one starting material. Any other reaction that could occur with that? Anybody else? I mean, we could. What if we react this with NH2OH? Maybe an acid catalyst. Hydroxylamine. Then we'll keep going.
Is it hydrogen? No, it's not hydrogen. It's
If we reacted with that reagent. Okay, hydroxylamine will react to give what? make imine. Now imine with an OH, what type of imine is that called?
Oxide.
Oxine? Yeah. Now you could perhaps get, you always got to be careful with a nucleophile that could displace the chlorine. I think the carbonyl reaction is going to be the quicker one. Imine, yeah. Call it oxine, but it's an oxine. Oh, hopefully that over there is, I mean, this has neon lights on it, right? Flashing lights. What do we get over here?
Double bond with the
I'll draw this E. You can also maybe get Z here with the methyl on that side. Alkene, right? Acidic reaction. Basically, this molecule has 3 sites of reactivity. Carbonyl. Displace the chlorine. Ring, like we can nitrate that ring, EAS chemistry. Let's do one more. What if we reacted with dimethylamine? Dimethylamine.
It just, yeah, it's like the double bond right there.
Dimethylamine.
It's not uniform, but it's really kind of wrong.
Here. So you got to keep going. It's not going to be a stable product.
yeah, so it's usually the same thing except for it's just
We'll do one more. LDA, followed by methyl iodide.
So it's a hydrogen, so it's going to attack that and then.
LDA. Oh, that's yeah, I think
That's hydrogen.
Here we go. Let's see. How does this product look? If I have a product with dimethylamine, that product's not, simple addition is not, no, if you're going to attack carbonyl, you're going to lose water. You're going to lose water here. It's not going to just be a simple addition. Enamine, if it reacts with carbonyl, it could possibly displace the chlorine as a nucleophile. React with carbonyl, enamine, right? You don't lose the water. But you can't lose an H from nitrogen, so you have to lose it from the alpha carbon.
Oh, and
Right? Your nitrogen doesn't have an H to lose. It doesn't have 2 to lose. It only has 1 to lose. The other H comes from the alpha carbon. Enamine, right? Secondary amine, carbonyl, enamine. Up here, LDA. What does LDA do? Make anion? And then you, alkyl. That's just going to make this longer here. I mean, we make that bond there. So now we have, instead of a methyl ketone, we have a propyl ketone. Right? LDA makes anion, then do SN2. This is a toolbox of reactions. How we do? If anybody thinks of another reaction, let me know on Wednesday. We can see if there's any. There's plenty of others. Here we go. Let's end with this one. You got room for one more?
Yeah, sure.
Sodium borohydride.
Worked up.
Pretty straightforward, yeah? Got a new H here. H comes in, electrons up, O picks up proton. Just reduction. Theoretically, yes. Hydride doesn't that's apparently just not a preferred reaction. You don't see that much. But theoretically, yeah. I mean, if it's a hydride, sort of like this. It's probably much faster to attack carbonyl, like a 1,2 addition, carbonyl. And once the H attacks carbonyl, then it's not coming back off. And once you get to this point, you're not going to displace the chlorine because it no longer has a withdrawing group ortho or para, because that's no longer a carbonyl. So this probably happens first, and then at this point, it's not susceptible to being picked off. It's essentially just like a Michael addition. I mean, things prefer to add carbonyl first, and if they do, then they're not going to come back off and add down here. The one that could potentially do that is when we react with dimethylamine. It could potentially displace the chlorine. You end up with a nitrogen and 2 methyls here. That's certainly possible. Basically, here at the end of organic 2, we have lots of reactions. Toolbox of reactions. Okay. Is this the last page? Okay, let's see what we got here. Look at this reaction. This is still a Michael addition. And here's our alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl. Right here. What's the nucleophile here? The nucleophile here is, okay, here's the base. What's the most acidic proton on the board? Right here. That's where you're going to make anion. What's it going to react with? It could react with another molecule of itself, but I would use this guy. Okay? Now, it could react directly with carbonyl. That'd be like an aldol reaction. I mean, if we didn't have this, we would do that and we'd be doing aldol. This is an enolate nucleophile. These typically prefer Michael addition, 1,4. What we're going to do here is a Michael addition. And when these electrons add here, what do we get here? Basically, it's the same old thing. It's just our nucleophile is sort of big here. And this bonded here. We've got to keep up with things. This is the bond we made. This is the beta carbon. It's the alpha carbon, and then we have here. Beta carbon doesn't have any carbons on it. Make this bond. This used to be double bond. Electrons in. What's here in the intermediate mechanism? Yeah, there's your anion. Okay? Now this can pick up a proton. For example, it can take it back from this. This is actually a catalyst here. Because this took the H, we make this plus ethanol. This happens, then this can take the H back from ethanol. Let's draw the bond in. And what do we get? We made this bond, we got a new H here. Plus what? We reformed our catalyst. That gave the H, this took the H back, and we reformed catalyst. There you go. This big nucleophile did a Michael addition. Just got to keep track of your backbone. This is an enolate. It's actually an activated enolate. It's between here. Enolates typically add 1,4. Now, it is a synthesis of a 1,5 difunctional compound. You don't need to know that, but look at it. We got, if that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we've got 2 carbonyls separated 1,5 relationship. It's getting to be a fairly diverse-looking compound. Okay? That's just another example of a Michael addition. Let's keep this here for a little bit. Let's look down here. Robinson annulation. First off, annulation means ring forming. I don't know where the term comes from. Anybody know the origin of that term? That means ring. I don't know. No.
Yeah, no, that's break it. I don't know. I was thinking like
Annulated means we're going to make a ring. Robinson annulation. This is where an intramolecular aldol reaction follows or occurs after a Michael addition of an enolate. Well, we did a Michael addition of an enolate just above. Following this is going to be an intermolecular aldol reaction. Look at this up here. If this had not picked up a proton, could it have reacted with anything else? Now these happen to be different. But what if this, instead of picking up a proton, what if it reacted here? Electrons up. What are we doing there? It's going to be an aldol reaction. And what we have here is an aldol reaction followed by a Michael. If you do this, we're going to make a ring, and it will be a Robinson annulation. Show the aldol product that's formed by this attacking here. What size ring will it be? Actually, it's going to be a 4. That's not going to be favored. Let's take some time to look at this. Let me get a better writing.
But the H is beside it or city.
That would be 4. It's a 4-membered ring. Could we get a better sized ring? Let's also focus on this carbonyl. Just ignore that one because we could repeat the whole thing. That's going to be a different outcome because there's a phenol here.
Aren't the hydrogens beside it slightly acidic? So they go there and make a 5-member ring?
Where?
Just to the left of the carbonyl.
This and this reacting?
No, when you just
No, you can't react to enolates. You need an enolate and a carbonyl.
Could you use resonance with the lone pair and use the oxygen to freeze?
Theoretically, you could, but the oxygen adding is not going to give you an isolatable product. But we can do something that's not resonance. We can consider equilibrium. Let me lower this down so I can write without the text. Let's just consider equilibrium. That is proton transfer. What if a proton proton is transferred from here to here. And let me rotate it. Well, I'm not going to rotate it yet. Boom. This H plus transfer. Make anion over there. That is considered, it's probably two different molecules. But you know, here's this end of another molecule. This just takes an H from here and leaves the electrons behind. If that took an H from here and left the electrons behind, that would now have an H, but then there's where the electrons are left behind. That's just proton transfer. Which side's favored? Would you rather have anion next to carbonyl over here or next to here? It's essentially almost the same. Neither side is going to be highly favored.
Well, you want to form
No,
a
but the
certain
induction
size ring.
force is huge.
So in equilibrium, this proton is really bouncing around. Why do I get to be the anion? I want to be the anion. You can all be the anion at some point because you're all equally stable, so we're going to take turns holding the proton. So now this guy holds the proton, but at this point, now this can come over here and we can make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7.
6-member ring.
I can't tell.
So I'll show the product when that does an aldol condensation reaction right there. We did the same exact thing 2 days ago. That is what I'm saying is this does not have to pick up a proton. Instead of picking up a proton, we can equilibrate. Now actually, where's anion most likely? This is more likely to take a proton not from there, which we showed. Where's it more likely to take a proton from? Right there is the most acidic proton. That anion is probably most likely. But this anion could only attack here and make a 4-membered ring. We can get a 6 here. Less likely anion, but that's okay. It's all in equilibrium. What does this give? Somebody have the ring that's formed with this. Missing a carbonyl. But we want to do an aldol condensation. We want to lose water. Typically, for me, we're going to take it all the way and lose the water. Lose the water. Lose the OH plus the neighboring proton. Where's the neighboring proton? The neighboring proton is the enolate anion. Enolate anions form and it kicks off there. Anybody got it? Pretty sure that's it. We'll show one intermediate before we eliminate the water. Where's your carbonyl? Missing carbonyl. Yes, yes. There's a possible Regional isomer. Yes, I see that now. I see that now. And let's look at that. Okay, let's do it mechanistically. Let's show what this does. This gives a when this attacks here,
You have the double bond on the bottom.
here's your 6-membered ring. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Electrons up.
Yes.
Okay, let's say we made this, I'm saying we made this bond here, carbonyl.
Yeah. Methyl and OH.
Here's a carbonyl. Let's label this A, B, C, D, E. Going this way. A, B, C, D, E. E is an attack. And there's your attacking, coming this way from the carbonyl is that. Coming this way, that attacked here, electrons up.
You have a methyl.
There's also a methyl on there.
Yes.
We made this bond.
Yes.
If we bring this back down and kick off the enolate, we have carbonyl with a methyl. But the enolate carbon attacked it, electrons up. Now coming off of D is what? That's the phenyl ketone coming off of D. We made that. Okay, now this is going to pick up a proton.
Yes. Yes. Now you got it.
And there's where just the enolate attacked and we picked up proton. But this is what one person had here. We're going to lose water. Now you can actually lose water on either side, as someone pointed out, because you have this H is acidic because it's next to that carbonyl, but this H is also acidic because it's next to this one. So you actually have two choices from here to make anion. I did it from this one because I did the original attacking, I just made anion again. And so if you take, I'm doing this without redrawing structure here, you can look at the tape. So we made anion here. Because every time you make anion, well, with anion there you have ethanol.
Oh,
Okay? But see, this took a proton from ethanol to remake ethoxide. Then ethoxide took this H to make anion. Now we can come in here and kick that off, and we talk about that. That's a fast step. How can you kick off the hydroxy? Well, it's a fast step. And that's how we put this double bond in. But as someone pointed out, we could have taken off this H and boom, put double bond in on the other side. Yes, we could have. Two possible. In both cases, the product is going to be an alpha-beta unsaturated carbonyl. Here. If it was there, it would have been this way, alpha-beta unsaturated carbonyl. But there you go. Plus hydroxide. But hydroxide, you can take a proton from ethanol, and you can get water. There's the water. And when it takes an H from ethanol, we get water plus what? There's our catalyst again. This is all catalytic. What have we done? Basically, this reaction could give this product. If you just keep on going, because you do a Michael followed by an intramolecular aldol, your choice of ring, 5 and 6 being best. There we go. This, we just did a Robinson annulation to make this product. Pretty complex, but if you look at it stepwise, see what we're doing. It's a combination of a Michael followed by an aldol. We can make some complex products this way. I know we're about out of time here. At the very end, my final exam in graduate school, my second organic class was right here. One question. There it was. It was also open book. You could bring any books you wanted, but you only had 3 hours. Yes, and you didn't want to just spend your time looking through books. You'd never do anything. There it is. Make that compound. It's not as bad as it looks because you can start with this right here to give this framework. This is a Robinson annulation. Please look at this. You should be able to do this. See what's going on here. Okay, guys. Quiz on Wednesday. See you this afternoon right here and tomorrow.